Hello learners, how are you? I want to believe you're doing so well. This is teacher Eliud, ready to take you through mathematics this morning. And this morning I want us to look at measurement. Under measurement we are going to talk about area of triangle. Now when we talk of triangle, there are things which I want us by the end of this lesson we should take into consideration. So one of the objectives that we are supposed to understand, you as a learner, is to define what a triangle is. Once you have defined what a triangle is, we are going to identify the sides of a triangle. After identifying the sides of a triangle, we are going to state the formula for finding the area of a triangle. Once we have done that, we are going to get now the area of a triangle. So I want us to start now, and I want to believe you as a learner, you are ready for us to move together. And I want to welcome you, also share with your friends, invite them so that we can learn together as learners. Now when we talk of a triangle is a three-sided figure. I want to believe in your classes, in your school, you have come across a triangle, and you have seen how it is, and therefore a triangle is a three-sided figure. One of the figure is known as the base, and one is known as height, and another side is known as hypotenuse. When we are working out the area of a triangle, the hypotenuse doesn't appear anywhere. So this is how a triangle looks like. This one is the right triangle. Now this side, this is our height. This is our base. And this is our hypotenuse. The longest side is the hypotenuse. And when you're working out the area of the triangle, the hypotenuse doesn't appear anywhere. We only include hypotenuse when we are finding the perimeter, because perimeter, it is the distance around a figure. But when you're finding the area of a triangle, hypotenuse doesn't appear anywhere. So just as I've said, we want to discuss about the area of a triangle. Now we have various types of triangles. I want us to move together. We have various types of triangles which I want to believe also you have learned in your class. We have equilateral triangles, where equilateral, all sides are equal. So this one, if you have ever seen something like this, and we have these signs, this and this and this, these lines, like the slides or a slant, it shows that this line, and this line, they are equal. So this one we call it equilateral triangle. Now how do we get the height of the equilateral triangle? This is the height. We normally have something like imaginary line which we are imagining, or we use dots. So this one becomes our height, while this down here becomes our base. So that is number one type of triangle. Number two, I can choose this one to be our number two. This is a right angle triangle. When we talk of a right angle triangle, one of its sides measures 90 degrees, and this is the sign of which shows the 90 degrees. The third one, I want to believe we are together. So in a right angle triangle, This one is our height. This one is our base. But when we go back to equilateral, these ones form hypotenuse. Then imaginary line now forms the height. Number 3, we have scalene triangle. When we talk of scalene triangle, none of its sides is equal. They have different measurement or different size. Let's go back here to the right angle so that I can explain something. If this side is 8 centimeter, this one can be 6 centimeters, then the longest one can be 10 centimeters. So you can see none of its sides is also equal. While equilateral, all sides are equal. If this side is 6 centimeters, this side will also be 6 centimeters, this side will also be 6 centimeters. And that one also applies to the angles. The angles are equal. So if this is 60 degrees, this one is 60 degrees, this is also 60 degrees. Why do we say 60 degrees? Angles inside a triangle add up to 90 degrees. So scalene, again, it is like this, and none of its sides are equal. They have different units, different measurement. So if this can be 7 centimeters, this one can be 8 centimeters, this one can be 9 centimeters. Then again, this one forms the part of hypotenuse. Height will appear somewhere here by the use of imaginary line. Then lastly, we have isosceles triangle. When we talk of isosceles triangle, two of its sides are always equal, and we represent it with the use of these two slant. This one shows that this line and this line, they are equal. So if this is 6 centimeters, this one is also 6 centimeters, then this one can be 8 centimeters. So the two sides are equal, as well as the two angles. Now in this lesson, I want us to dwell so much on the right angle triangle. How to get the area of the right angle triangle. That is what we are going to dwell with. Remember, I started by saying that you need to know, or you need to define what a triangle is. And already we have said a triangle is a three-sided figure. Then from that, you need to identify the sides of a triangle, where I've said we have 3 sides of a triangle, which is known as the height, the base, and hypotenuse. But we do not use hypotenuse when we are finding the area of a triangle. Next thing which you need to understand is how to get the area of a triangle. That is the formula for getting the area of a triangle. How do we get the area of a triangle? Area of a triangle is equal to a half of the base and the height. That is a half times base times height. That is the formula we use when we are getting the area of a triangle. So area of a triangle, learners, you need to understand, anytime you're solving out a question dealing with a triangle, you apply the formula, which is a half times base times height. And remember, I've said we do not use hypotenuse when we are finding the area of a triangle. Now learners, let's move to the workout. I want to believe you have captured something on how to get the area of a triangle, and we had already defined. So I'll move to the workout, that is examples on how we can get the area of triangle, and we are moving to example 1. Now, as you can see on your screen, there is a question on example 1 which states Maggie drew a right angle triangle. I want to believe you can see it clearly, whose shorter sides measures 19 centimeters and 10 centimeters. What is the area of the triangle? Now, if you can follow keenly before we work it out on the whiteboard, I've started by saying area is equal to a half times base times height. So I'll draw it on the board so that you can see it clearly. So this is our drawing. This side is 10 centimeters. This side is 19 centimeters. Then we are required to get its area. I've said the area is equal to a half times base times height. So you will first write the formula. Then the second step is to substitute or to change the letters with their original value. B here stands for base, H here stands for height. So we will pick A, which is represent area, is equal to a half times base, which is 10, times height, which is 19. And remember, the units are centimeters. So there are two ways which you can solve out this question. One is by looking for a number which you can simplify with the denominator. Remember, these are whole numbers and this one is a fraction. So you can either make this one to be fraction by introducing 1 below the numbers. That is 10 over 1 to make it look like a fraction. 19 over 1. So that it becomes easier for you to work it out. Now, I have said one of the ways is by simplification. So you look for a number in the numerator, the numbers on the top. 1, 10, 19. We call them numerators. Then the numbers down here, that is 2, 1, 1. We call them denominators. So you can look for a number which you can simplify, that is the numerator and the denominators. And if I look at these, there are two numbers which I can simplify, that is 2 and 10. So I'll say 2 goes into 2, 1. Then 2 goes into 10, 5. Then now, under denominators, I have 1, 1, 1. So which means 1 times 1 times 1 gives me 1. Then numerators, I have 1 times 5, which is 5. Then 5 times 19. That means 19 times 5. So I'll pick 5 times 9. 5 times 9 is equal to 45. So I write 5 here. I carry 4. Then 9 times 1 is 5. Then I add 9. So 5 plus 9 gives me 9. So up here, I'll get 95. Then from there, you write your answer as a whole. You simplify again. You ask yourself, 1 goes into 95 how many times? 95 times. So what will be our answer? Our answer will be 95 centimeters square. Always remember the units. 95 centimeters squared. Why are we talking of 95 centimeters squared? Because you are getting the area. So that is the first step. The second way of solving this question is by working out the base, multiply by the height, then after that you get a half of your answer. That is A is equal to a half times base, which is 10, times height, which is 19. So you put the base and the height into bracket like this. Then you multiply 10 times 19. So a half times 10 times 19, which is 190. Then you break the bracket by multiplying it with what is outside, that is a half. So what is a half of 19? A half of 19 simply means, of 190 I mean, it simply means you take 190, divide by 2. Then when you are dividing, you go into long division. So when you are dividing a 3-digit number by a 1-digit number, you first of all pick the first digit. You ask yourself if 2 can go into 1. It is impossible. Then what do? You pick the second, first 2 digits. That is 2 goes into 19. How many times? 2 goes into 19 9 times. What is 9 times 2? 9 times 2 is 18. So you subtract 9, take away 8, you get 1. 1 take away 1 is 0. So down here you have 1. Then you ask yourself, can 2 go into 1? 2 cannot go into 1. So what do? We drop the next number, which is 0. Once you have dropped the next number, which is 0, it will make this number to be 10. Then you ask yourself, 2 goes into 10 how many times? 2 goes into 10 5 times. Then you multiply 5 times the divisor. So 5 times 2, 5 times 2 gives you 10. Then you subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. So you have divided, and at long last your answer here down here is 0, which means 2 goes into 190 how many times? 95 times. So our answer becomes 95 centimeters squared. So that is the second way of working out area of a triangle. I want us to move to example 2 so that we can see what example 2 is. And what to believe can see it clearly on your screen. Example 2. Example 2 says, find the area of the shaded region. Now, a triangle, what we didn't explain earlier, a triangle can be a half of the rectangle or a square. So as you can see that figure on your screen, we say find the area of the shaded region. That is a rectangle which has been divided into 2 diagonally, and one part is shaded and the other part is unshaded, the white part. That white part is unshaded. Now we can turn to our whiteboard and see what we are trying to say. So this is a rectangle. This rectangle, you can divide it into 2 equal parts diagonally, starting from this point to this point. How the question was. Then this part is shaded. In simple word, when we talk of shaded part, it is the part which was colored or has been marked the way I'm marking this one in creative art. This one we call it stippling technique. Want to believe grade 6, You have done that one. It's art, we call it stippling techniques. So this side, which is the width, is 3 centimeters and the length is 6 centimeters. So the question wants us to find the area of the shaded part. Area of the shaded part. So this is the shaded part. Now, if you look at the shaded part, if you try to split it from the triangle, it will form something like this. If you try to split it from the rectangle, it will be something like this. So this is the shaded part. If you look at this shaded part, it is in form of a triangle. So this is our base, which is 3 centimeters. This base forms the width of the rectangle. Then the longer part, which is the length of the rectangle, forms our height. Remember, in a triangle, in a rectangle, the two opposite sides are equal. If this side is 6 centimeters, this side is also 6 centimeters. If this side is 3 centimeters, this side is also 3 centimeters. So if this one is 6, which means down here is also 6 centimeters. And these lines represent this one, which is 6 centimeters. So after splitting or separating it like that, now you go ahead. You have seen clearly it is in form of a triangle. So you go ahead and find the area. Anytime you are working out mathematics, you must start with the formula. How do we get the area of a triangle? Area of a triangle is a half times base times height. B represents base, H represents height. So we move to the second step, which I had said earlier. It is you do substitution. You change the letters with their original value. So area is equal to a half times B, which is the base, which is this one. So you will not write B, but you will substitute to its original number, which is 3, times H, which is the base, this one here, which is 6. Remember, they are in centimeters. So in that way, you can use any of the workout method which I had given earlier. You can use you can use the simplification method, or you can work out the base and the height separately. Then later on you find a half of your answer. So I'll work out it using simplification method. So our base is 3 centimeters and our height is 6 centimeters. Why is this on our base? Because it is slantly positioned and the base is always smaller than the height. Height is bigger than the base. Is that clear, everybody? Now let's proceed and work this one out. So using the simplification method. So I'll take 2 goes into 2, 1. And for you to do that, you must have checked, is there a number in the numerator which can be simplified with 2, which is in the denominator? Yes, 2 cannot go into 3, but 2 can go into 6. So I'll pick 2 goes into 2, 1, 2 goes into 6, 3 times. So in our denominator, we have 1 times 1 times 1, which gives us 1. Then in the numerator, we have now 1 times 3, which is 3. Then 3 times 3, which is 9. Then from here, you simplify because the numerator cannot be bigger than the denominator. So from this point, you ask yourself, 1 goes into 9 how many times? 1 goes into 9 times. So our answer will be 9 centimeters square. I want to believe you have gotten that one right. You can as well use method number 2. But method number 2, we can see it, we can use it in our next example, which is example 3. So can we move to example 3? Good. From your screen, I want to believe you can see our example 3 and we can read it together wherever you are. Example number 3, we can read it together. 1, 2, 3, let's go. Find the area of the shaded region. Now, that one is another figure. And which figure or which shape is that? That one is a square. What tells you that it is a square? It is a square because both sides are equal. We can see now on our whiteboard a square. When we talk of a square, all sides are always equal. So this square has been divided into 2 equal parts diagonally, where the shaded part is this side, and this is 4 centimeters. This one is also 4 centimeters. So we know it is a square because this side is the same as this side. So for us to find this area of the shaded part, we will write down, or we can go ahead and split it from the main diagram, and it will be like this. So mine is a little bit big. Let me try to make it. So generally it is something like this, where this side is 4, this side is 4. So which means the base is 4 centimeters and the height is also 4 centimeters, simply because we have separated it from the square. So you write down the formula, which is area is equal to 1/2 times base times height. So area is equal to 1/2. The second step is to substitute times base, which is 4, times height, which is 4. So I want us to work it out using our second method, which is working out the base and the height separately. So we work out 4 times 4, that is 1/2 times 4 times 4, which is 16 centimeters squared. So from here you get 1/2 of 16 centimeters squared. It simply means you take 16 and divide by 2. And I said earlier, when you are dividing a two-digit number by a 1-digit number, the first thing is to ask yourself, can 2 go into 1? 2 cannot go into 1. Therefore, you bring in the second digit with it, which is 6, to make the number to be 16. So 2 goes into 16 how many times? 2 goes into 16 8 times. What is 8 times 2? 8 times 2 is 16. Then you subtract to get 6 minus 6 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. So what will be our answer? Our answer will be 8 centimeters square. Remember the formula, the unit, which is very critical. Ensure you use the correct unit. Now, I want us to move to something else, activity now, which I want us to try together. So activity 1, I'll only give you 2 activities. Then now the rest you can practice at home. Activity 1. Activity 1 from your screen, we can read together. Then you try working it out. Activity 1 from your screen says, a farmer prepared a seed bed in the farm in the form of a right angle triangle. A farmer prepared a seed bed in the form of a right angle triangle. The shorter sides measured 84 centimeters and 70 centimeters. Work out the area of the seed bed. As you can see from your screen, I have said you note down the formula, which is area is equal to a half times base times height. Then the second step, as you can see on the screen, you take a half times 84 times 70. Then from there, you use simplification method where you ask yourself which number can be divided by 2. Both 84 and 70 can be divided by 2. So in that case, you only pick one number. You don't divide both of them, as you can see on your screen. So I'd only picked 84. So I say 2 goes into 2 down there, 1. Then 2 goes into 84, 42 times. So I'll not again ask myself, can 2 go into 70 how many times? I'll say you only use one number from the numerator. Then from there, you pick now 42 times 70. And you can see from your screen, it is 2,940 centimeters squared. Boys and girls, we move to activity 2 as we even come to conclusion. Before I explain one thing, activity 2, which I also want you to try. Activity 2, as you can see from your screen, the question says Tanui drew a rectangle which measures 54 centimeters and 36 centimeters. He drew a diagonal line and divided it into 2 equal triangles. What is the area of each triangle? So there are 2 triangles there, and the questions want you to find the area of each. So the one area is the same as the other area. Why? Because they are 2 equal figures. So the first thing, note down the formula. As you can see on your screen, area is equal to a half times base times height. Second steps to substitute, area is equal to a half times 54 times 36. Then using the simplification method, you ask yourself, is there a number in the numerator which is now 54 and 36 which 2 can go into? 2 can go into both of them. Therefore, you pick only one. So that is a half times 50, 2 goes into 2, 1. Then 2 goes into 54, 27 times. Then the next step, now you multiply that 27 times 36. Then you get your answer as 972 centimeters squared. Now, boys and girls, I want to explain one thing before we go. There is a situation where you can be given the area plus one side. Either you have been given the base or you have been given the height, and you need to find one of it. So how do we go about it? That one now takes us to activity 4. Let's see it, we read, then I explain. Then I want to believe from there we will be in a position to tackle any question dealing with area of a triangle. So activity 4 from the screen says the height of a triangle is 8 centimeters. The area is 60 centimeters. What is the height? So from the board, as you can see, you have been given the area, which is 60 centimeters squared. And you have been given the base, which is, you have been given the height, which is 8 centimeters. Therefore, you are supposed to find the height. How do we get the height? The first thing you do is to write down the formula, which is area times a half. Area is equal to a half times base times height. We can now look at our whiteboard. So from here, after writing down the formula, the second step I said is to substitute. You change the letters with its original value. A here represents the area. And have we been given the area? Yes. What is our area? Our area is 60 centimeters squared, which is equal to a half times base. What is our base? Our base there is 8 centimeters times our height, which you have not been given. So what do we do here? We have the half, yes. We have the 8, yes. We do not have the height. So what do? We simplify here. We work out this one by the use of simplification. Put this one over 1, this one over 1. Then ask yourself, can 2 go into 8? Yes, 2 can go into 8. How many times does 2 go into 8? 2 goes into 8 4 times. And 2 goes into 2 1 times. Which means this side I'll still have 60 centimeters squared is equal to. Then you multiply the numerators, that is 1 times 4, which gives you 4. Then 4 times h. What is 4 times h? Algebra now. 4 times h is equal to 4h. Then down here it is just 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1. So boys and girls, we need to get this h, which is the height. How do we get this height? We will be able to get height by doing away with this 4. And how do we do away with this 4? You divide both sides by 4. What you do this side, also do it this side. So let 4 go with 4 so that you remain with h, which is height. Then 4 goes into 60. How many times? 4 goes into 60 15 times. So you get that our height will now be 15 centimeters. Not centimeters squared, but centimeters. Simply because we are finding out we are getting the height. We only put centimeters squared when you are getting the area. Now, boys and girls, I want to believe you have gotten something this morning. Make sure after this you go through your books again, do a revision on the areas of area of a triangle so that you can master the content as much as possible. Meanwhile, that comes to the end of our lesson this morning, and I want to wish us all the best this day, and have a blessed weekend as you even purpose to learn other areas in the next few minutes to come. Thank you and have a good day.